Well, hello everyone. It's digital host AJ Wiest here, and the city of Madison is expecting to make a major announcement coming up right here at 11 o'clock. Now, we do not know what this press conference is about, but there is no doubt when you look at the city of Madison, there is certainly a lot of growth, and this is really not a surprise to anyone. The city has been growing for about 2 decades now. And as you can see on your shot right here, this is Mayor Paul Finley. Let me actually take his audio.
To Madison 29
and
years ago.
He is starting now,
It's
so
hard
you
to
guys
believe
enjoy.
that in 1995, we decided to build a house and moved into it in 1996, a day after my middle son was born, which to me was quite a week. And then I fast forward 13 years later to about this time in 2008, when I kind of felt like the dog that had caught the car. Now what you going to do? We were about 4 or 5 days out from taking over as the mayor in the city of Madison. And in coming in, I can tell you, I thought I knew what this job was like. And for the most part, I did. But what I don't think that I truly appreciated is the people that are here at City Hall each and every day. So I've had the ability at 10:30 to talk to our department heads and let them know where we're headed in 2025. And I can assure you that group of 15 department heads continues to manage this city like no other. And then I had the opportunity to send an email to all of our employees just a minute ago to give them a heads up on what's happening. Those department heads managing those employees, and over 425 right now, that's the folks that, regardless of who comes in and out of this office, is where the rubber meets the road. And then the last part about that I'll say is I had the ability to talk to so many stakeholders this morning, starting, Mayor Battle and I and multiple other people, Chairman Chairman McCutcheon, and we had the ability to recognize why this overall community is so good. I think about the city of Madison, just in the last 5 days, what happens in this city. We celebrated Madison with our State of the City address in a festival at Toyota Field Thursday. Mayor Battle and I drove down together to Auburn to be a part of the Big Ten Mayors meeting. Madison has grown into the 9th largest city in the state, and each quarter we meet. And it's one of the most helpful things that I'm a part of, because you hear how other cities are supporting their cities, problem solving, and finding areas that continue to help you connect with your city. Last night we had a spirited discussion on Town Madison and the economic development that continues to happen there. And this morning we broke ground on our 8th elementary school in the city of Madison. That's just in 5 days. That's what life is in this city right now, and it's why there's no question, as mayor, this is the highlight of my professional career. But we're here because it is an announcement to tell you guys that I do not plan on seeking a 4th term as the mayor of the city of Madison. Now, one thing I do have the ability to do is utilize a bonus year. So I want to go back to 2020 for just a minute, as all you guys tell everybody else what the news is. But going back to 2020, each time as a mayor that you decide that you're going to run, you have to have purpose behind what you're doing. We had done a great job of defining a mission statement for the city of Madison, making sure we kept our roads strong, supporting our Madison city schools. Economic development was critical, but as importantly, it was building relations with our surrounding community. And we had done a wonderful job of that. In 2019, putting together a plan with our city council, our school board, and our superintendent, we ask our community to invest in themselves. Raise your property tax 12 mills, and we'll keep the school system that you love as strong as you want it to be. So knowing that, there's another piece, Town Madison. We had just secured the Rocket City Trash Pandas, and we were building a $46 million venue. And you guys know what happened in 2020, COVID hit. So as I looked to go forward, and do I really feel that I have the energy and passion for another term, there was no question I did. So we jumped into 2020 with most of the same team we had, and we went to work to accomplish what we had said we would accomplish. We talked about it this morning when we broke ground, but since that time that our community invested in themselves with a 73% yes, please go do it, we've worked with our school system to build Midtown Elementary School and a proper road structure to get you in and out. Journey Middle School and a proper road structure to get you in and out. Today, our elementary school in Limestone County, as you guys saw, is beautiful. My gosh, what a beautiful area back there. But we're building a road structure that helps you get in and out. So we've continued to do what we said we would do for our residents, which in turn has kept our school system all A's for every school in a premier district in the nation, not just Alabama. And then there's Town Madison. Because once COVID was done, it was time to play baseball. And it was time to in turn enjoy that multi-use venue for all of the different things that we get to do there. But we also needed to work with the developer to build out what was going to be our largest economic development area. You know, if you look at Town Madison right now, it's only about 60% full. And those full interchanges that we now are completing in the end of January will only make it that much stronger. So as I looked to 2020, what I wasn't prepared for was 2021, when our state legislators added 1 year to our term. I didn't ask for it, but they gave it to us. And I think as a mayor, you have a commitment with your city for what you ran for, and that's 4 years. So when I look to this bonus year, I get to treat it just as that. I love Madison, Alabama. I am not leaving the mayor's office simply because I have a problem. I'm leaving it because I feel there's another step for me as a dad, as a businessman, and most importantly as a son. So what you can expect from me is working with our department heads in our city to run through the finish line. We don't know any other way. Secondly, you can expect from our mayor's office a smooth transition to whomever takes over. Part of the reason it's important for me to announce now is we're only 10 months away from the elections in Madison. They happen in August of 2025. Madison, Alabama has quality people out there who we need to step up. The mayor and the council positions, all 8 positions, happen next August. And so it's critical that we announce now where everyone understands where we'll be. And then whomever wins, we can't wait to work with them and help them so when they come in November, I guess it'd be November 4th of 2025, when they feel like it's the dog that caught the car, they feel much more prepared as they go forward. What am I going to do? Well, I have a consulting business. I have a Paul Finley Consulting. I do professional development training. I do consulting and strategic planning. You can expect me to go back to doing that. And then when I talked with my mama this morning, she said, "Son, I'm proud of you. But I guess that means you're going to get to come see me more, right?" Yes, ma'am. My mom up in Kentucky will see me a lot more, and I can assure you those grown boys who are, I think, 3 and a baby when we move to Madison will have a dad who can't wait to enjoy them that much more. Lastly, if there's any regret that I have, it's that I will leave from a leadership position these community leaders that have continued to make this overall area the best that it possibly can be. You know, we buried a hatchet with Mayor Battle in Huntsville when we first came in. And the results when it comes to infrastructure are second to none. But to me, the more important results are each time this community has had an area of concern, whether it was H1N1, school shootings, tornadoes, COVID. We've worked together as a community to hopefully show one voice and the strength that we need. Madison, Alabama is incredible. This Tennessee Valley is just the same. That's the only part that I will miss is in being in the day-to-day discussions on managing. Now, what I won't miss is the 3:30 in the morning getting up to see what the weather looks like and making decisions on that. But from there, I'm so proud to have been mayor, and I can't wait for this last year to finish strong. So with that said, I would guess there may be one or two questions. And if not, I'm done. All right.
I guess I heard about the potential of having a 4-story building left field of Toyota Field from the other night. How did that conversation go? How do you see the risk and rewards for that?
That's a great question. You know, and I think let's go back maybe to 2008 when we came into office. Madison was not focused on securing sales tax dollars and business of quality that made a difference for our community. An example would be up on Highway 72. Home Depot has a Madison address, but those sales tax dollars go into Huntsville. So when we came in 2008, we immediately put somebody focused on economic development, making sure every day we were focused on sales tax dollars. The first big hit we had was the Shops of Madison and the Target Center in 2010. That was a risk. We had to pay $6.5 million. When you bond that, that's $8.1 million. It paid itself off over 12 years. It's paid off. That is generating almost $2.5 million for the city, and it's generating probably another $500,000 to $600,000 a year for the schools. Fast forward to Town Madison. And I think they started in 2014. We came in 2018 and focused on building that out. We now took over the infrastructure, added Toyota Field as an anchor, and that now is about 60% full, and we'll build that out. That was a risk. With that said, we have an opportunity to find a way to pay for an unfunded mandate that we've received from Major League Baseball. When Major League Baseball took over Minor League Baseball went from 160 teams down to 120 teams, and then those 120 teams had a mandate from Major League Baseball to make sure that the facilities that you had were compliant. Our visitors' clubhouse and the inability to support female umpires or coaches was a reason that we need to add a locker room in left field. That's one story. The 4-story, 3 additional stories, generate revenue that allows you to pay that back. So it's a great discussion that in turn, we feel like if you look at this community 10, 12 years from now, we're going to continue to grow. And while it hurts a little bit now to spend money, we will be awful glad if council decides, and there's still a decision on that. All we did was approve the architectural drawings. Council still would be looking for making sure it makes sense for our community, and we'll have that discussion down the line.
Mayor, you mentioned the groundbreaking this morning. Can you talk about some of those open-ended projects that you're looking to see through in the next couple of months?
Sure. I think this bonus year, one of the things it gives us is the ability, as we talked about with some of the things that weren't complete, to finish some of the things that are in this budget. I think this budget that we have that started in October is the best budget we've ever had. There's so many different projects that are funded, but you think about first our Madison Community Center. You know, one of the things about it, this is our home, but the growth in Madison and the roots in Madison continue to get deeper. A senior center can't just be a place you eat, play bingo, and go home. So adding 30,000 square feet and 30 acres, embedding our senior center in there is a project that I can't wait to open and then make sure that it is successful. Our wellness center in Town Madison is one that is a project that we're continuing to build out. We have a new safety annex in Town Madison, 38,000 square feet that we'll bid at the end of this month to give a fire station 4 and 20,000 square feet of additional space for our police. So as we've grown as a city, we have to grow with those projects. We added 40 acres of park space that we'll cut a ribbon on here in about another month at Sunshine Oaks, which adds a disc golf course, another playground, pavilions, livability. And then when it comes to our schools, one of the things I didn't talk about that I'm remiss is not only have we built 3 schools, but when our community decided to invest in themselves, they added a mill of that, a mill probably about $700,000 is what that means, that can go towards safety with those schools. Our Madison police support the schools with SROs, with the support that they needed, but that in turn gives the schools the ability to harden those schools. I think we've been ahead of the game in every way that we can, but the one thing about Madison, there's a problem that every mayor wishes they had. We're going to continue to grow. It's all we can do to keep up. You never feel like you're caught up. But together with these department heads, funded by our council, I think we have an incredible, solid plan that we in turn will have a joy of continuing to work through with that team and bring to full fruition.
I'd like to ask, I know you touched on, in the future you see yourself after this role, being a better, or not a better, but, taking time to be a son and a father. Any specific plans for the future, or is that just your main goal right now?
Well, I think the first thing I'll do is take November off. But part of what you do, and I've always been a part of, I'm a marketing major from Murray State, and I've always enjoyed sales and marketing. I think the best, and as a person with a sales background, you're only as good as the product you're selling. That's why this is the best job I've ever had. Selling Madison is not hard. What I'll do is go back into a consulting business. I do personality assessment. I want people to know who they are. There's no good, there's no bad, there's you. And then, as a team, how do you come together and make sure that you can not just communicate, but connect? Then, we may need to put together a strategic plan that helps you accomplish what you want to accomplish. And I think I'm really good at helping folks do that. We did that in 2016 when we came back into office, working with our department heads and our city council to put together a mission statement to this day we still use. So we're not just up here hoping that we get it right. We're focused on taking the monies that we're given, stretching it as far as we can to do as much as we can to improve your quality of life. So that is what, when I go into the professional world again, I'll be able to do. I'll have to build a pipeline again. But one of the other things that I love about that and what makes our community so great is a lot of the people that I go talk to and work with are our nonprofits. An example would be a month and a half ago, I was able to sit down with about 25 people from the Kids to Love organization, and while they paid for the books themselves, I gave away the professional development time. What that helps them do is understand each other and then be able to work with their donors and their support mechanisms to be as strong as they possibly can be. So from a business side, that's what I'll do. Unless something else comes up at this point, there is nothing else that I have planned other than that and spending more time with family.
Mayor, you talked about the long process of building up to making this decision, but there's that point where you decide and say, yes, this is what I'm doing. Can you talk about what was going through your head and your mind once you made that decision and you said, yep, this is really going to happen?
I think there's a worry. When I mentioned talking to folks today, and I'll say it this way and then try not to get emotional, but, I have 3 boys. It's almost like your city is a 4th child. And, I think when I left office in 2012 and decided not to run again, there was specificity behind that. I had 3 young men who needed their dad there more often. I don't talk about it a lot. You hear me talk a lot about my mom. My dad passed away at 53. I was 23. He had a heart attack. It was like that. And so I have always felt like, and I'm 61, just so you guys know, I know I look much younger, but I've always considered every day that I have past 53 a gift. But I also recognize that at that time, for their lives, it was important for me to be there. I'll give you an example of where that made a difference. My middle son played basketball at Bob Jones. On the night they played Sparkman in the first game of the district tournament in 2009, I would have had, and I say had, to give the State of the City address. Instead, I watched him score, I don't even know how many, 12, 14 points, hit the shot that made a difference to get him to the next round, and never missed it. My oldest son went from Auburn to grad school at UAH. He found his way, working on a Sally Ride Earth Camp project. And he, in turn, now is a director for the mission control area for the space station. My youngest son, at that point, I was quite worried would be a circus performer. He, in turn, is now a nurse at Children's Hospital in Birmingham. All of that because of our Madison City schools, but I was there for them in that decision. When I look at this now, a few years later, what I'm so happy about is all of those young men have found their way, and I am now going to be able to enjoy them at another level. So when it came to the thought process, it's, am I ready to take 4 more years on top of this extra year, or should I just take this bonus year and run through the finish line strong to continue doing wonderful things with a wonderful community. So this has been something I probably have known I'm going to do for 2 or 3 months. You agonize over the decision because I really am, I'm a strong believer that working with Mayor Battle, Chairman McCutcheon, it's a bond and a trust that is critical for our community. And your worry is who takes over. But again, part of where I think we've had a lot of discussion in the city of Madison about what this role is when we had the city manager discussion and vote, I think people have a better idea of what this role is. It is an incredibly positive role, but it's also exhausting. And I think in this case, I can't wait to have a couple more nights that are mine, although I will cherish the opportunity to represent our city at every place I've been.
Once you made that decision in your head, knowing that there's an end date, how has that made you approach the rest of this limited time?
Well, I think the first part of it is I don't think you're going to see any difference. When we left in 2012, I can assure you when Mayor Trulock came in, he had 18 file folders and 18 things on my whiteboard, and we sat down and talked about all 18 projects that were going in some form or fashion. So where does my mind go? How do I help make anyone who wants to do this better and stronger? How do I share information? We won't, I guess I go back, whomever wins, I appreciate their willingness to step up and and do this job. I'll do everything I can, and my team will do everything we can to help make them successful. So knowing what would have helped me when I came in, both times, we will make sure that we do it the way that we know is right. Good?
Is there anyone you're endorsing?
Anybody? I don't even know who's running. I mean, seriously, when you say anybody, and I know, last time people kind of put it back on me. Well, you're leaving, Well, some people first after the party that they threw, I never heard from them again. But there's other people that said, hey, who's going to take your place? You need to be a part of that. I don't feel that responsibility. I truly don't. I think I can only, you control what you can control, and then you accept, what comes. And part of doing this today, it's sad in one sense because I love this job. I'm not leaving the job. I think I'm just finishing something that has been, again, the highlight of my professional career. But again, when somebody else takes over, I want them to be the best they possibly can be because this city desperately needs someone coming in with hitting the ground running because it never stops. You never feel like you've caught up, and I'm thrilled with what we continue to do together. Thanks, guys.
All right, you heard it there first. Mayor Paul Finley of Madison announcing that he will not seek a 4th term in office. He wanted to make this decision early, 10 months away from the elections in Madison. Now, obviously, Mayor Finley was elected in 2008. He has served 3 terms in office. He spoke a lot about the growth within the city of Madison, and there is no denying that. If you're driving on I-565, you just see those buildings popping up out of nowhere. You see a lot of traffic going on in there, so there is no doubt that there is a lot of growth in the city of Madison. He does not know who's running for mayor quite yet, but he also spoke about his approach to his final days, stating that he will likely take the month of November off, and well-deserved there. But yes, that was the press conference out of Madison. I'm digital host AJ Wiest, and I am on your side. Thank you all.